Hello friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. Welcome to a best of 5 between Reynor and Oliveira here. Yes, Oliveira is technically the current world champion still. He won 2023 Katowice, I think it was. 2024 Katowice was won by Cyril, but in 2024 the world championship will be the esports world championship and not the tournament in Katowice. So it's, he's technically still the current world champion, the reigning world champion, although I don't think a lot of people would describe him as such. This is a game from the tournament recently played in Dallas, the ESL Spring Masters, I think it's called. Fantastic tournament. Good time in Dallas as well. As a vegetarian, I'm also a little bit afraid of going to different countries because it can be tricky to eat. But Dallas was very nice. We went to a place called Taco City there, and very often what happens is that if I order, so they had no vegetarian options on the menu, right? Which it's okay because you can just, I'm capable of speaking. So I asked, hey, do you have anything vegetarian? And he said, if you can eat cheese, then yes. I said, yeah, I can eat cheese. And he basically gave me a chicken taco, except without the chicken. That's what he pretty much, that was it. It was very delicious. Or it was a quesadilla, I think it was. I never know the difference between anything, but it was very delicious. It was fried. I loved it. And I looked at the price and I realized he gave me a chicken quesadillas, and he actually lowered the price of it. So I think the chicken quesadilla was supposed to be $10, and he only made me pay $8 because, he could remove the chicken. But often what people do is because it's more trouble, or they just want to give the same product, they either charge you more or they charge you the exact same amount. So I really respected that. So if you're ever in Dallas, shout out to Taco City, Give them a visit. These guys are cool. Good food as well, actually. Kind of liked it. In general, the food in Dallas was phenomenal. Really ate a lot of good stuff in there. I was impressed. So much Mexican food in general in the past 2 weeks. Spent some time in Canada before that. And Lambo is someone that often keeps track of what we eat. And Lambo told me that I had eaten Mexican food 8 times in 14 days. Lambo himself ate Mexican food 9 times in 14 days. So he beat me out there. It's one time I didn't join as I was feeling a little sick. Probably had nothing to do with the insane amounts of salsa sauce that I had been eating. Jalapenos. I've been sniffing. So we're watching a standard triple CC opener here. Standard? 10 Hellions. 2 more than standard. So almost completely standard. Ooh, we also have an armory, so it's going to actually be a Hellbat push. Let's see how ready Reynor is going to be for that. I think fairly ready, right? Yeah. Most definitely. It's gonna lose his fort though. It's not the end of the world. It's not brilliant either. I really like this. I actually think this is really cool. So very often when you're watching Terran players play Hellbat attacks, it feels way more all-in than it should be, especially after the recent changes with the armory. The armory nowadays is fairly cheap. It's not that expensive anymore. Like, you can just... What the hell is this? Did he fly to the wrong base accidentally? took a wrong turn somewhere. Anyway, what I was gonna say is that the armory is quite cheap, so you can just kind of throw it down, and you don't have to all in with it. He just built 2 extra Hellions, built an armory, and then said, hey, I'm just gonna kill your fort base. That's my goal, and when I achieve that goal, I'm going to be happy. And that's really all there was to it. He forced out a bunch of units, a couple of banelings. In some cases, you might still be capable of dealing more damage, but here it's like, no, actually a fort base, it's all I'm going to need. And got the kill, got out of there with majority of the cars, 9 survived. Banshee's capable of hopefully dealing some damage here still. 4 kills so far on these Banshees. It's not bad. Liking the way the Oliveira is playing. This is a really fast fort base, by the way. Holy macaroni. Holy macaroni. Yeah. That's what it is. After the fort factory, after the second factory, fort base before second factory, really quick, really quite quick. So you could look at this game and say to yourself, well, you know what, Oliveira isn't hitting too hard here with his 2 medevac follow-up. That's true. But he hit quite okay with his initial push. His opponent isn't aware of the fast forward pace. It's 76 workers here for Reynor. Reynor ideally would be at 91 right now, 92 workers. Reynor would love to be swimming in them drones, but he ain't. Reynor is at 81 drones, which once again is not terrible. If this is a standard game, it's not terrible, but this forward pace is really quick, so it's not great. Just gotta deny some creep. That's gonna be the main focus here for Oliveira's gonna get the final tumor as well. The final active tumor, I should say. There's still three tumors in range of that scan that he potentially could have taken had Link's not been in position. Drilling claws now being researched as the tanks continue to be constructed. Reactor on the way as well. We're gonna see these mines drill down fast. 3 more barracks on the way as well. As personally, what am I looking forward to here? What do I know about Oliveira? I don't actually know a whole lot. I hardly ever play against him. I actually can't recall the last time I played against him. Actually, it was in Atlanta and he 3-0'd me. I do recall playing against him, but I don't play against him a whole lot. Alright? I don't play against him a whole lot. And I don't watch him too much either. So far though, playing a decent game. Very patient. Not at all inclined to go for anything super crazy aggressive here. It's kind of playing the long con here. The long con is not bad. The long con is actually considered to be pretty decent here for Terran. 4th base is already established. 5th base is fairly late, especially given how fast that 4th was. Tanks just slowly but surely crawling forward, but nothing really out of place, you know? It's not like there's 5 tanks down here. No, it's just a single tank that is moving in position. This is such a cool position, the way he's playing. It's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle here on Oceanborn. If a Zergling goes in there, he won't come out. Because it's just such a solid setup. And going for flanks here is also going to be rough. Like, it's not great for flankability. We have the Banshee still on the right side. They're somehow dealing damage, which is cool. Gonna end up falling here now, though. At least one of them will go down. Second one also ends up dying. As Oliveira is slowly but surely starting to push further out on the map. Mines now joining this push as well. Vehicle weapons level 1 is about to finish up. We have a 6th base over here. A 3rd factory. How do you really go for a counterattack? I don't think you can. I don't actually think you can. Left side base is going to get cleared. Left side base is going to get cleared. And I think Oliveira is kind of clearing a path for him to expand towards the left side. Here comes a Link counterattack. But there's so many units behind this. Like, what is this? This is not bad at all. Sensor tower shows instantly what's happening. I wouldn't mind seeing a sensor tower over here, by the way. It's kind of an added-in benefit. Mine hits are not going to be huge. They're going to be big enough, though, to scare this army away. A couple of random Marines and Marauders getting caught there. What an awkward position for Reynor to be in, as the map is seemingly split in half already, with a very limited amount of tanks. Lovely positioning here out of these tanks. Absolutely phenomenal positioning on these tanks. Very different from what we see most of the time. Usually we see it way further back. Oliveira is very far forward with these tanks. Left side perhaps a bit, what would you call it? A little bit vulnerable. These rocks need to be taken out. In general, rocks haven't been taken out almost whatsoever. And that's really limiting the movement here that Reynor is capable of. Links are gonna try catching a portion of this army. Mines, can they hit anything big? Not really. Minor hits. Oliveira's backbone is being tested here. Doesn't seem to be the strongest. The spine of his army almost instantly collapsing at the first bit of pressure. Lose the planetary on the right. Tanks moving forward. 2 banelings burrowed, as we have lurkers now being added into the mix. That is interesting, because this doesn't feel like a lurker game. It's too static for it to feel like a lurker game. Way too static. Lurkers are really good in games where there is some action at least, where lurkers have the opportunity to get in position. That hasn't been the case here quite yet, as Hydra's trying to move in forward. Lingbane coming in as well, as Reynor getting some okay-ish trades. Not great though. It's to rebuild a lot of units, and this 5th base is actually going to get established at this point. Nydus network going down in the main. Do we have lurkers going in? Yes, we do. We also have plenty of marines coming back home to deal with this. Overseer's barely not gonna get sniped. Liberators on the way back too. Quickly want to see what the unit count is here. We have 7 ghosts, we have 2 liberators, we have 9 tanks. Those are pretty significant numbers if you ask me. I feel like this is almost enough where this late game is just going to be hard for Reynor to engage into with lurkers. This is not the army comp you want to be having right now. The army comp that Reynor wants to be thinking of is, I think, still just kind of Hydra, Link, Bane, Viper stuff, if you want to do something. Or otherwise, maybe thinking of Brute Lords already in the very late game stages of the late game. You know, we're kind of in the early stages of a potential late game here. Doesn't feel like we're quite there. Positioning on these tanks once again, absolutely phenomenal. Would love to see a command center here being added on, like a planetary, providing some extra strength to that position. This double liberator's just gonna siege up, and yeah, and Reynor not really capable of getting anything done with these niduses. This is the 3rd nidus, I think it was, the 4th nidus that achieved nothing. Niduses aren't free. They aren't super expensive, but they add up over time. They're a little bit like nukes. You know, you can miss 2 or 3 nukes, but if you miss 10 nukes, it's like, oh, it's quite a bit. Do we have a nuke here? Yeah, of course we have a nuke. There we go. Straight to the sky. It's gonna find a base here. And it's not instantly gonna kill it, but... Right? I think a nuke insta-kills this. 500 damage in the center. That's what nukes do. 11 goes out. We kind of have this continued need to expand for Oliveira as well. Oh, he's actually building a CC here. This is a good move. I love when people do what I think. This CC actually in some trouble as well. It's gonna die with 200 energy. That's frustrating. That's 4 mules. 800 minerals. You're not gonna see. Liberators could try to siege up over here. Instead, they're just gonna F2 into that spore, or at least A move into that spore. Nydus network finishes up. This is the first time that a Nydus goes up. Left side under heavy attack. Reynor is finding some serious damage in this game. It's not what I'd expected. I really did not think that this game was dynamic enough for these lurkers to really find serious damage. Now, ghosts are moving back home. The snipes going off. Does feel like it gets cleaned up relatively easily. But it's 4 base versus 6 right now. Middle under heavy fire. Links rolling in. Infestor remains hidden. Doesn't see a good opportunity for a Fungo. And I kind of agree with that. It's in a very solid spot. Doesn't want to be revealed right now. So a couple more lurkers are going to get sniped. 3 ghosts are going to be enough for this task, I think. Yeah, there we go. Maybe 1 ghost will die. No, we'll stay alive. Resources lost. What are we at? 27,000 to 21,000. Not the greatest resources lost for a Terran that I've seen in my life, but it's good enough where Reynor probably needs to start worrying. That if you're not taking out significant portions of economy at this point, it's like, well, what's our orbital count at? We're at 1 to 4. Okay, that's not super high actually. Still playable in for Reynor. But you gotta be careful, because if this 6th gets established, Oliveira is actually in some serious trouble, I think. That's what I think. I could be wrong, of course, but I don't think I am. I don't think I am. Infestor on the edge of the scan. Planetary on the high ground. Rocks still up. It's gonna make fighting much harder here for Reynor. Not sure why he's keeping these rocks up. It seems like a mistake. Good scan here. Gonna take out that Infestor before it gets to cast any spells that could change the outcome of this fight. As a result, Reynor just losing quite a bit there. It's lurker here, burrowing on the top side. I don't actually think this has been spotted. This attack is going okay. It's going well enough for Oliveira. At the same time, nydus hitting the natural. Don't need a scan to deal with these two lurkers. Tank is in position. Can hit at least one of them. This base is gonna end up falling. That's a big deal. That is a big deal, because at the same time this right side base is also under heavy fire. Don't quite think this is going to end up dying though. The damage output is simply not enough. Pickup comes in too late as well, but left side base being denied is very frustrating here for Reynor, who decides to go in, but there's a lot of tanks here. We have the snipes coming in from the far back as well. 2 goes from the right side. Not gonna get picked up and will end up dying. That was an okay trade for Reynor for sure. 36,000 resources to 27k right now, as Reynor is still looking for something. This base has a bunch of patches. This base has a bunch of patches too. This base actually also still has 5 patches. This is empty. For Reynor we see 1, half, half. So both players mining from a similar amount of active bases, and that's really what we care about. How many active bases are players mining from? And how many active bases do they potentially have access to? And I think this right side base is super key right now. It's absolutely key. As at the same time, Lynx gonna try to blast this area. There's no overseer here. 3 tanks will end up falling. SCVs stay alive though, and if these SCVs had fallen, I'd say, hey, maybe that's fine. At the same time, we have a fight going on over here. If you kill 20 SCVs here, there's actually not that much income left for Oliveira. He doesn't have a crazy orbital count. He's still only at 5. But with these SCVs staying alive, he's gonna continue being capable of playing kind of the late game. This base has been evacuated. There's no hatchery over here. Income-wise, Oliveira actually ahead. It's not gonna last forever, of course. And it definitely wouldn't last if these 15 workers go down here on the bottom side. 17 workers, because there's 3 in the gas as well. And more Hydras coming in. You have a single link that somehow unburrowed into this base. Mine being taken out at this point. Needs to be so careful not to lose this. Really needs to be careful. It's absolutely key. Oliveira is heavily muling right now, and he kind of wants to boost up the 200 supply before attempting, you know, taking another base. Reynor eyeing another nydus in the natural. I think that would be almost silly. He's gonna go for the main, but there's a tank ready. Reynor from the left here. Can he do something? Once again, these rocks just blocking the potential for a good fight. Infestors sharking around everywhere. Would love to see a neural parasite on a tank or something, as this bad boy tried to unburrow. Doesn't quite work. Can we get perhaps a blinding cloud somewhere? The answer is no. No blinding clouds available. Oh! Mine takes out that Viper. So there's not going to be any blinding clouds here anymore. Nydus at the same time goes down next to the tank, but the tank unsieges. Will be capable of taking care of that. Left side base hasn't landed quite yet. We have a base on the way here. It is out of position. Too far towards the bottom, I do believe. Both of these mines will not get a hit in. Are going to get taken out. We have a decent ghost scout. Oh. Fungal boy moving in position to try and deal some damage. We get a scan. Doesn't quite catch the infestor. Doesn't quite catch it. Oh, once again an unburrow into instantly losing it. These spellcasters have not been having a great time whatsoever here. Vipers going down, infestors going down without really contributing anything. Tank is going to unsiege once more. And once more also will take it out. We have how many? We have 5 lurkers in there. This army comp is simply not good enough, I think. There's only 13 banelings. There is a Viper still, but it hasn't been active in the fight. This base is too far away, so it's not going to be mining very efficiently. And if this 6th now starts mining, that's going to be a serious issue. That is really the problem. If you can deny this base for the next 3-4 minutes, I think Reynor's in a great spot. But if he can't, he's not going to be in a great spot, because then he's going to be outmined. Like, there's only 2k minerals here. We have about 2k minerals, no, less even. There's going to be 3.5k minerals left for Oliveira if he doesn't get this left side base. Like, that's it. The question that I have is, can Reynor even attempt to break him? And I think the answer is just going to be no. I don't think that's going to be possible here whatsoever. It's actually Oliveira that is moving out right now. Ghost taking a little bit of damage against the base. Knight is going up in the main base. There's 2 Marines around. Liberator could siege up as well. Snipes going down. Nydus network once again is going to get cancelled. Going to get blasted before it has the opportunity of finishing. And with this base falling, I'm actually really afraid right now. This army looks extremely weak. Extremely weak. Hardly any Banes. No spellcasters whatsoever to... You know, the sea. The mention. Mining is fine for Reynor, but... The fact of the matter is that you're just down in resources lost. So if you're going to be equally mining at the end of the game, that is not a very good look. And if you didn't manage to deny this base, that's also not a very good look. And I think Oliveira is just mining a lot of resources here from these bases. We have an attack going towards the right side out of Oliveira. Reynor's trying to move into position. Does he have any of these spellcasters? Viper's just idling in the middle, is not active right now. Infestors... See if we can finally get a fungal, but even if you get a fungal, you don't really have the Baneling count to deal with all of these ghosts. Don't really have the follow-up damage. Maybe a parasitic bomb here is going to be capable of helping. Knight is coming in the back. Lurkers want to join in the fray as well. Here we go. Reynor looking for an opportunity to fight. I don't think he's quite going to fight it. Goes way too far in the back. Now these lurkers are going to siege up. They're going to fortify this position at least a little bit. It's going to get these ghosts to move in forward. Good scan out of Oliveira, realizing there might be an infestor lurking around. Now we're going to see the snipes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. 2 of them finished. That's the end of that lurker. Same time, Nydus network in the natural. Once again, Oliveira taking care of it. Very limited amount of Nydus networks have gone off. We have seen 22 Nydus networks go down already in this game. As Oliveira is still pushing in forward, wanting to deny the mining on this base. He doesn't even really need to, because he has complete control over the left side. So he knows he's going to be mining at least the same as his opponent, but he still wants to take it out because he can. And he absolutely can indeed. Ghosts moving in forward are going to get picked up here. Tanks in the back helping so much. This position is almost impossible to engage into. And it's just Reynor losing unit after unit, not getting anything done, just moving back and forth in tank fire. Ghost getting the snipes off, tanks getting the pot shots off. Nydus network does go down here. This base, which was so vulnerable earlier, finally is going to get attacked. And a couple of workers will end up falling, but it's too late right now. As Reynor walks in here, the ghost snipe down everything. And 123 supply to 185. Oliveira with money in the bank to easily and quickly rebuild. GG gets called. Our Terran player here takes game number 1. Impressive gameplay out of Oliveira, but it did feel like Reynor kind of left something there on the table. Just the way that these fights went, the way that... I think all the rocks were up in general, I think is a mistake. I wonder if lurkers are really the solution in this type of game in general. It's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to say what is the correct move. But yeah, it felt like there was a significant lack of just spellcaster usage there. Like infestors never getting a fungal, vipers hardly ever getting a blinding cloud. We saw like no abducts being used there almost whatsoever. So I think these are things that we do need to keep in mind. As Reynor here is rushing out 6 links off of a pool first opener. With a gas as well. Later gas, but gas nonetheless. This is pretty important. Yeah, Reynor's trying to scout that, and he should know that he can't really go in there. It's Reaper plus Marine. I guess you could get a kill on an SCV, maybe even get a kill on a Marine, but you're gonna end up losing all 6 links. And with those 6 links also, you kind of lose the reason for the Reaper to stay home, right? Now, what you should be doing as a Terran player, if you want to play it safe, I think you're forced pretty much into building a bunker. Ooh, almost gets a surround there on the Reaper, which would have been hilarious in my mind. SCV actually stays alive. Wow. SCV staying alive. Could fight back against that Ling. Yeah, there we go. This Marine's gonna stay up as well. And this was legit as bad as it could have gone. This was as bad as it could have gone. I'm wondering what he's going to be building. Will we see a Cyclone here or just pure car? Yeah, it's going to be a Cyclone. So this is the safety Cyclone. In case it is roaches, in case roaches are being built, these Cyclones are going to provide a lot of safety here for Oliveira. He skipped the bunker. Usually you build a bunker in this type of scenario for a potential roach follow-up. You can't really move across the map with a Reaper because then the Lings come in. They'll kill your Marine. They'll kill your SCV. Life sucks. So you want to keep the Reaper kind of at home. You sometimes see the SCV staying across the map, but that also wasn't the case. It's going to be a 2-on-1. Cyclone. Maybe we build 2 cars, but I'm not really feeling that vibe, to be honest. I'm not feeling a car vibe here, yeah. Neither is Oliveira. It's going to be rushing out that stim right now and just pop off with the Marine production ASAP. Pronto. Absolutely. 3rd CC, 3rd hatchery. And Reynor's going to regret taking this gas, by the way, because this fast speed was absolutely not necessary. Could have played a complete gasless opener against what Oliveira is doing here. See starport on the way. Reactor as a follow-up. Couple of links now coming out. What has Reynor seen so far? Nothing is the answer. So he's completely unaware as to what is kicking off. This Reaper's now coming in, wants to get in for a scout. He's gonna get no info. Sees the lack of an extra gas actually, which is big. That's very big. So sees no second gas in the natural. Saw the lack of Alair as well. Saw a bunch of links. And also checked the drone count. So actually quite a few clues here. Quite a few clues. And the question now is going to be, how's Reynor going to respond to all of this? So CC is still on the high ground. Probably want to be flying it over here soonish. Double eBay, not in the natural wall. That means that the natural wall is going to remain open for a little bit longer. Ling, far left. See what we're going to be capable of doing with that. Okay, goes in. Just sees the 2 Cyclones, no extra information. More links now moving forward. I think Reynor's actually going to commit with these links. That would surprise me. You have 1 spore at least. Maybe a spore in the main is okay. 2 spores. Absolutely don't want that against this type of opener. Yeah, this sucks for Reynor. It really does suck. I think this opener went very, very poor. Very, very poor. Gonna get a minor run by? No. Quick lift there on the depot. Impressive stuff out of Oliveira. Mechanically very sound. APM looking solid too. As we get a scan, it's gonna cancel that creep tumor that was active, but no more. Baling nest being thrown down. We have a fort base, a lair. We have 2 overlords. A little bit of a supply block for Reynor. It's only on 56 workers. I'm not digging this situation too much here if you're Reynor. I absolutely am not. Upgrades are the same. Worker count is very close. We have 3 more barracks on the way. It's because he started with 2. I mean, 18 more links. Is he gonna go for a 1-1 timing attack here? I don't think 1-1's gonna be done, to be honest. Maybe just a straight up 0-0 attack. He's hoping for serious damage here. Like, he's building so many links. This is 60 links before he even gets to 60 drones. We have a bit of cash in the bank. Now we're adding in a couple of drones. I am not loving this. I really am not for a Zerg player here. Now we're getting the add-in of more and more drones. 9 more. 3 more, 4 more, you know, are trickling up. Oliveira could be throwing down a fort base, is exactly what he's doing. These medevac's looking to get in position to deal some damage. What do we have over here, buddy? Show it to me. Tumor's getting taken out. Minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can we get 7? Yeah, we can. Neat. Very neat. This is a difficult area to spread creep to because of the ramp. Mine there is going to be helping out Oliveira as well. Fort base, about halfway done. Gas is being taken. 10 more drones on the way. Reynor's finding these little holes where he can drone up. You know, he's like, okay, there's not a lot of aggression on the map right now, he says. I can get to a drone count that I want to. 84. That's decent. A lot of cash in the bank for Reynor. Must have been lacking with some of these injects earlier. Has 9 queens. So, yeah, there's a lot of minerals in that. Still has 1k in the bank, though. Would have loved to see that either being quicker drones or just more links at this point. It's gonna go for +1 range, +2 carapace, so fully expecting a Hydra then to be thrown down here behind this somewhere. But I'm not seeing it quite yet. 7 Overlords on the way. Here comes an attack. Here comes a fight. No. It's Oliveira that actually engages. Does get blasted by one of these Banes. Queen count at 8. One of them almost falls. Target fire on the Banes is good. We'll need to pick up right now. Gets a couple more Banes though. That was really well done out of Oliveira. Just staying exactly as long as he could. Ends up losing 3 more Marines. Now it's going to drop into the main base. Spore not on the edge, but still in a good enough position where Oliveira doesn't want to commit to the play. Forward base has finished up. 2 drones somewhere falling. It's the Liberator that has managed to siege up over in the 3rd. It's now going to move over to the 4th. Do we have a Spore in position? We don't. That means it should be capable of dealing some damage. Queens on the right side. We have 4 queens on the right. We have no queens over here. That's a serious mining denial. 8 Marines heading towards the main. Single queen, no Spore in position. Let's go. See what we have over here. Mines now trying to burrow. Drilling Claws has finished up. That means they'll remain invisible after shooting. As this 8 Marine drop is not going to be capable of getting the unload in the main base. Instead we have a rotation towards the... I think this is the 5th. Indeed, 4 Marines are going to drop behind that 5th base. Same time we have an attack at the 5th as well. So some multitasking within that 5th area. Queens take out the Liberator. And Reynor takes the lead. 101 drones. 101 drones. That almost feels like too many. 28 workers. Serious oversaturation here on the 4th or 5th base, whichever one it is. Oliveira, meanwhile, in an army supply lead. 2-2 upgrades. As well done right now. So even upgrades, army supply leads, getting decent trades here. He's not quite getting the hits they want, and the medevacs stay alive, and that is important. As long as the medevac count is high, Marines will be capable of continuing to trade. Do we have Hive yet? No, we don't. Reynor, I think actually messing up a little bit here. Do we even have an infestation pit? No infestation pit, no Hive, so we're stuck right now on Lair Tech, Hydra Ling Bane, with a drone count that is quite frankly insane. Oh, fat mine hit there. 23 kills total on this mine. Been putting in the work. Creep spread practically non-existent. And an infestation pit is going to be so late. +2 carapace is already done. There's going to be a supply lead here at some point for Oliveira. Oliveira has been denying creep. Has been pushing in forward hard. Has been getting decent enough trades. About 3k resources in the resources lost. The left side still has some creep at least. What's the current queen counter? It's 7 still. As he can perhaps rebuild some of these creep troopers. Medevac count is insane though. 12. The healing here is going to be off the charts. Marauders being sprinkled in as the barracks count is up to 8. The moment +3 attack finishes up here, it's going to be a serious issue for Reynor. But even before that, his army supply is significantly lower. All of these fights are going to be just partially on creep. Banelings will need to run off creep in order to properly fight this. As we're going to have a bunch of these Marines kiting back. Can we get some big hits? No, we really can't. Banelings do connect here with the Marines. And that's going to force the retreat here on Oliveira's part. Who's going to be moving back. Liberators being rallied into the mix. Ghost being produced as well. Medevac count is still phenomenal at 11. I feel like we're lacking some units though. I think what we need right now is a max out and waiting for the 3-3 or at least a +3 attack. If you go with a max out and an upgrade lead against someone that doesn't have creep, that doesn't have Vipers, doesn't necessarily even have a great Baneling count. It's not like there's 50 Banelings, there's 21. There's 20 Banes, and a bunch of those are going to be on the left side. A bunch of these are buried. Burrowed, not buried. haven't died quite yet. They're ready to explode. $101 drones against the 82 of the opponent. So here comes the Overseer with a good drag. That was a beautiful mine drag here. You're actually saving Reynor's butt a bit. Forcing Oliveira back. Double lips now coming in. Queen count at 6. Sieges up in the middle of a spore. Here comes an army from the side trying to clear these Hydras. So the mines do not get that many connections with the Banes. I'm not sure if they have to though. At the same time, Gold Base gets taken out here by a drop. Planetary is being landed here, so it's going to go up to 6 bases. It's going to be 6 base against, well, 5, at least for now. After this Gold Base has been taken out, Seismic Spine's on the way. Once again, Reynor trying to go into that lurker tech. Is that going to be it though? No sensor tower here on the bottom side as an attack rolls in forward. Can the Banes connect with the SCVs and does deny the repair on this base? The answer is yes. That is a good snipe. At the same time, we have a fight on the right side. That's also a good snipe, but by the Terran, as a lot of these units are going to get taken out. Ghost going to be moving in forward. Liberators can siege up. 5th base will need to be given up, and that's going to put Reynor back onto 4, still down a base. We can send some reinforcements over towards the far left, but I'm not even sure if that's quite going to be necessary. Baneling count practically non-existent here in this fight. Don't forget we still have an upgrade lead. 3-3 upgrades against just 2-2. These Lings not even with +2 melee attacks quite yet. Reynor just with a single spore in the main base. He's going to survive there for now. So the Liberator siege up, allowing this army to redrop. Snipes on the Hydras, and we get a cancel on the base. Army moving towards the left side. As mentioned before, this was a possibility, and a possibility that Reynor is not and was not ready for. Base is going to fall once more. I just don't see reinforcements coming into that position. This Ghost army also under heavy fire. We get a scan towards the main base. Sees the spores. Gonna try and drop into it. I think this is risky. I think this is dangerous. Vipers aren't out yet, but if they were out, a single parasitic bomb could have dealt so much damage here to these medevacs. That would have been a serious issue. We have 193 supply to 186. +3 carapace now on the way. Can we get these? Look at them. They look so silly on the ramp. You can just see them. Of course, Oliveira can, but it's the observer. It looks silly. 14 lurkers on the way. This is the only chance I think that Reynor has. It's going to be a fat counterattack here, hoping that the tank count isn't big enough. Hoping that the ghost count isn't big enough. Honestly, it's a plan that might have some real potential. 4 base versus 5. If you can get these units across the map, really, what is there to deal with them? A couple of lips. 8 ghost. Not enough anti-air from the Zerg player. That could be an issue. Went down to 88 workers, which is a more reasonable number. Still probably going to have some minor oversaturation. Yeah, minor oversaturation indeed. Nydus network goes down in the main base. Is Oliveira paying attention? I'm not so sure about that. Lurkers are sieging up. Can the ghost snipe him down? No. I think... Oh, actually, no Overseer here. That means that these snipes go down for free. Snipe, snipe, snipe. Nydus does finish up. That's going to be a lot of lurkers here in the main base. Reynor with the comeback is going to get in here, and if he can defend at the same time, which I'm not so sure if he can, as there's no Banelings. Parasitic bombs now hitting. Do we have adrenal glands? No, we don't. Hydra's coming in. We just need a single or just 2 lurkers over here is all we need. The main base is under heavy fire. Liberator sieging up. Nydus network is going to evacuate a couple of these lurkers. Well, the lurkers not really burrowed quite yet. The defensive Liberators are saving the day here. If Reynor could have managed to sneak a couple of Hydras in there, had a bit more safety at home, and the ability to reinforce this position, I think this could have straight up killed Oliveira. Even now, it's dealing so much damage. Oliveira hasn't been capable of producing properly for a while now. Still floating a lot of cash. Nydus network in the natural goes down. What is the amount of scans we have available? We have 4 orbitals out here. I think the orbital on the main base actually ended up dying, not even getting lifted, which is a pretty big blunder, of course. Liberators now sieging up, but that's going to be the end of these lurkers. Overall, the lurker count is, well, only going to be at 6. 5 more on the way. Adrenal glands now on the way. Still, tank count, non-existent. Liberator count, pretty decent. Ghost count, what do we have there? We only have 4. 6 lips, 4 ghosts. That's going to be it for the lurkers. And we have 14 Hydras out at the moment as well. Reynor here in game number 2 is making it more of a game than I think it really should have been. Oliveira had such a significant lead in this game. And has been in the process of kind of throwing that out. A couple more SCVs going down as well. At the same time, we have a lurker attack coming here at the right side. Planetary is not scanning. That means that it potentially could die. We don't even have any repair yet. Here we go. Repair comes in. No energy available for snipes. That is pretty freaking scary. Here we go. Pulls back just a tiny tad. Good movement here, honestly, out of Reynor. At the same time, is attacking into the third base as well. Is pulling his opponent apart. An extremely impressive performance here out of the Italian, who was just dead. He was out. Is now kind of sneaking back into this game. Didn't have permission from his parents, but he went anyway, and good lord, this is working out well. This is working out very well. Lurker still here as well. Ghost count, practically non-existent. Liberator count only at 3. With Vipers there, the ability to pull them in is available. Queen's taking it out. I think this is just a win. I think this is just a win at this point. 180 supply to 90. There we go. 1, 2 Liberators. Adios, my dear friend. Lurker Knight is in the main base, actually taking it out. That was sick. I really didn't think it was going to deal that much damage. It felt like Oliveira had a good hold on this game. It was in firm control. Gotta get a counter-attack move here. Do we have Liberators? No, we have a lot of mines, though. No Overseers defensively. Yeah, this attack is not gonna do it. Absolutely not. Banelings getting connections. Lurker sieging up. As I said, there's still a Lurker available over here. A bunch of transfuses. GG. This could have been 0-2, but instead it's going to be a 1-1 score between Reynor and Oliveira. Like, this is a theoretical 2-0 in favor of Oliveira, which is really the only thing that matters, is what should have happened in theory. Impressed by the way he's playing so far, I really am. It's looking solid. It feels like that his entire vibe, or his entire plan, is to have a game in which he is in control of the speed and in control of where the action happens. And if that is the case, I think he looks really good. I think the problems start once he's not in control anymore, and he doesn't look quite as strong in that case. And it can be hard. I think one of the issues in that last game, of course, is kind of the lack of tanks that he had, where he had a lot of tanks in the first game. He almost exclusively played a mine style, or just an exclusive mine style, of course, with Liberator support in the second game. That allowed him to put on a lot of pressure, but it also allowed Reynor to kind of put on some pressure and to multitask. And if you allow Reynor to multitask, that's often a mistake. if you can kill the game versus Reynor, if you can make sure that nothing happens, that is a very, very good thing to happen. It really is. As we have another command center coming down here. This looks all very solid. Triple CC type of stuff. We have to swap between the factory. Ooh, starport coming down as well. We're seeing the second refinery before Hellion starting. So this feels to me like we're heading into a kind of a Banshee type of scenario. Just based on the timings of the buildings that we're seeing here. Positioning of the buildings, I'm fully expecting. Yeah, there we go. Attack lab. Could once again see a helmet push like we saw in game number 1. It's kind of non-committed helmet pushes. They're really freaking cool. So Reynor opened up with the... I think this was a 20 hatch. Sorry, 28 hatch. 28 supply hatch. Very standard in this matchup. It's going to be Banshee indeed. Alright. Show us what you got, mister. Start the interference matrix. Gotta be careful that you don't accidentally finish it. It's a very quick upgrade, of course. 57 seconds. He doesn't actually want it. So the reason why he's starting it and cancelling and then it's gonna start it again, is because he wants his opponent to scout Cloak. It's like, hey, I'm getting Cloak. Please build an Overseer. Please build Spores. I want you to build these things. You have to, okay? It's actually gonna be kind of close. Needs to start it again. Hasn't actually started it. Ooh! Not sure if Reynor paid attention there, but this was a fake. This was a very obvious fake as well. The first Banshee is out. Reynor technically could get away with skipping spores completely. Because for whatever reason, Oliveira is playing double Banshee without Cloak. I guess he wants to save the gas. I mean, that is definitely the reason why he's doing it, but it's kind of wild, no? It's going to be 8 Hellions. 8 Hellions. Two cars. Or sorry, 2 cars, 2 Banshees. 8 cars, 2 Banshees. Then what, double eBay? She's gonna have a lot of extra gas here. Actually really curious how this is gonna pan out. I am curious how this is gonna pan out. What can you get quicker because of this? Is there going to be a faster tank with it? Gonna have a faster initial move out? Not sure if that's true. Banshee's now moving across the map. I find it hard to imagine that they're gonna get a whole lot of kills. +1 starts. First tank should be on the way here. Yeah, there we go. This all looks very standard. Guess the build just flows a little bit nicer. Cloak does feel like a fairly useful upgrade. Guess it depends how you want to be using your Banshees. General damage done so far has been practically 0. A single Overlord went down. Single Ling went down. And 1 Hellion went down, so... Talking about good early games, this definitely is one of those. Spore here as well. Ready to go. 1-1 upgrades a little bit quicker for Oliveira. Creep spread phenomenal for Reynor. Not surprised by that. If you don't put on a lot of pressure on this kid, he's going to be spreading creep like his life depends on it. Because, well, let's face it, for a lot of Zerg players, their life does depend on their creep spread. Can send some of these tumors a little bit further out. Centrifugal hooks now on the way too. The first 2 Medavacs have finished. And immediately we have Oliveira out on the map. 3 more barracks coming in here. It's gonna be going up to... Up to what? To 8. 8 barracks. It's gonna be 8 Rex play. The question is going to be, will we see tech labs or naked marine production? Feels like naked marine production to me. Yeah, there we go. Usually when we see tech labs being built, it is a mine style. If you go 8 racks before Fort CC. So the standard, for the people that don't know, is that you get a Fort Command Center, then you add 3 more barracks. Here we see 3 more barracks, instant production to get a burst in Marines. Get as many Marines as possible and go for a timing attack. That is going to be the plan here. Now, there's multiple ways you can play it. What I've seen in the past is people... initially going quite ham with those drops, trying to deny as much creep as possible, and then hitting very late, sometimes even waiting for 2-2 upgrades. Especially if the E-base can be built a little bit faster in your early game build order. Sometimes I see people just moving across the map the moment, you know, their barracks have produced like the first 3 Marines from the 3 barracks, basically. It seems like that's kind of what Oliveira is going for. He's going to be taking out these rocks. Does he have any real defense here? Still going to be adding in a command center. So he's not done yet. He says, hey, I still have more eco to get. That means that he's less committed than you usually would be. Reynor here with Ling Bane on the map. 88 workers. That is a very high worker count. He also has a very high Baneling count, though, defensively. As the Ling run by comes in... is going to take out a lot of workers here. Tank sieging up. I think Reynor should be giving up this base at this point. Yes, he absolutely should be. All the links that he's rebuilding need to turn into Banelings as well. Pure Baneling production at home is what we want. He's killed 32 workers, and all he needs to do is not die. If he doesn't die in the next 45 seconds, he will most likely win this game. As more and more Banes in production. Tank sieging up. Should still add a couple more Banes into the mix. Lynx perhaps could consider going back home, as they're not really achieving much over here, and could perhaps with a flank achieve something in this general area. Income right now, 2,600 minerals against 600. Reynor is not in a hurry. Needs to rebuild his Baneling nest, which he of course already is doing because he is brilliant. This base is about to finish up. Can start mining from it. We have a lot of spores here on the side. That might actually be a bit too much. Run by now being sent in. Oh, it's hitting just before the reinforcements arrive. Here we go. Is the target fire on the Banelings going to be good enough? I don't really think so, as the Banelings actually don't get enough connections. Queens stay alive. This was without extra upgrades for either player. Reynor didn't win the fight, and as a result is now in some serious trouble. He didn't need to do it, but he believed he could, and I also honestly thought that he could. He's gonna lose another Baneling nest. He's trying to quickly rebuild as many of these links as he can. 14 Banes, is it going to be enough? We have a single tank remaining. We have 39 Marines, 14 Banes. There's just not enough links with this. I don't think... Oh my god. Oliveira forgetting to micro there. Completely overstimmed in this army as well. 3 Banes get sniped all at once. Hellbat still staying alive. Reynor's supply block as he's lost a lot of Overlord. Steps out with a GG. We'll lose this game. Where it felt like he was in a commanding lead. Until that fight. I kind of want to see that fight again, to be honest. Holy crap. Because it didn't feel like he was losing necessarily before this. Army supply is 70 to 96. He's coming back home, which I liked. He doesn't need to go though, right? His opponent isn't really threatening anything yet. You could wait longer. You could wait longer. But do you really have to? You take out these reinforcements? You could, most definitely. Because now these reinforcements, they arrive midway through the fight. Actually help out a crap ton. Otherwise you could maybe take them out basically for free. More queen production, maybe. Oh, well. Wild stuff. All right. Oliveira. Up 2-1. Game number 4 will be played on Alcyone. Potentially our final game in this best of 5. Theoretically, the score is 2-1, just as in reality, but I feel like they swapped 2 games. I think game number 2 should have gone Oliveira's way. I think game number 3 should have gone Reynor's way. I feel like game number 2 was a little bit more convincing in favor of Oliveira than it was in favor of Reynor. Game 3, it really felt like Reynor had the right idea. He had a very good early game. Just phenomenal early game. Went up to a worker count of 90, which in retrospect maybe was a bit high. I'm not sure if staying lower at 84 would have mattered that much. Feels like very often that at the high level, the theory is right. You know, the scouting is correct, the responses are correct, and then it really comes down to unit movement and how fights are taken, much more than anything else. I think that's where it went wrong, perhaps for Reynor. I feel like he maybe had a bit more time in that last game than he used. Let's see what's kicking off here, though. We have a second cast that is quick. We have a starport. We have a tech lab. So this is a very similar opener to that last game where kind of expecting Banshees again. Could be a Raven, technically. Something we don't see a whole lot, honestly. I think definitely has some power to it. Ravens. Big unit. It's going to be a Banshee instead. See if we're going to get the cloak once more, or if it's going to be similar to last game where we get that type of fake cloak or no cloak opener. I actually was talking with someone, I can't remember who it was, that mentioned that they saw Oliveira play a bunch of cloak into hyperflight rotors. Not cloak, Banshee into hyperflight rotors. So just, instead of getting cloak, you get the Banshee speed. So you get these really quick type of rotations with them. But instead it's just going to be the interference matrix once more. So it's a fake cloak. It's not even going to get scouted here by Reynor. Wow, this is a very low Hellion count. Only 6. This is the lowest Hellion count possible, probably. Get the 2 extra barracks and reactor here, of course, already built. Reactor on this factory on the way. Barracks in the wrong position, but that's okay. Can't win them all. What are these cars doing? Can they get another kill here? No, they barely missed this. Can they get it? Nice. We'll get that tumor. Wonder if the link scouted the lack of the cloak. No, it didn't. So just gonna have spores on the way. 2 to be exact. We have a 4th base coming in as well right now as the Banshee shows up. Gonna try to get a cancel on this fort. Is there enough damage output in a single Banshee? Yeah, it seems like the HP is going down, so this will need to be respected. Oh, accidentally attacks the wrong thing there. It's gonna continue attacking it. Second Banshee is also moving across the map, and it's only just a single queen. 3 more queens are gonna be showing up. The damage on this hatchery is significant. It really is. The Banshee taking a lot of damage. Second Banshee comes in now. From the side. First Banshee goes down. That is frustrating. Will this hatchery get taken out? I'm not so sure. No, it won't. It's a lot of damage on that hatchery. But not quite enough. As here we're going to get a surround on these cars. Will the cars go down? No, it's the Lynx that are going to bite the dust. That's a bunch of Lynx actually there that went down. 1 Banshee falling. Set of Lynx as well going down. We have 1/1 upgrades on roaches. It's going to be a roach type of opener here out of Reynor. 7 tumors moving forward. It's a very small jumps here with the creep tumors though. That is not quite how you want to be doing it usually. You want to send them to the very edge usually. Marine's already moving across. The first 2 medevacs are about to pop. Marine count is high. There's a tank with this too, and it's going to be capable of... Ooh. It's going to be moving further ahead than I thought it would. Usually we see it in this position, which is a very particular position. Tank is not even sieged up. They're not quite ready for this. It's going to research tunneling claws. That's a misclick. That is absolutely a misclick. Tunneling claws before Glio reconstitution. That is a mistake. 100% of the time. As, Oliveira's actually committing here to the play. Is gonna be moving in. Loses the Banshee, but is gonna deal a lot of damage. And Reynor potentially in trouble. Reynor in trouble. He's gonna be losing all of his queens. 1/1 not quite finished. Oliveira smelled an opportunity and jumped on it. Reynor is rebuilding a lot of roaches here. Losing all of his queens. 3 queens still alive. Medevac's also being taken out though. Tank now sieging up. Drones need to not die. It's so important that these drones stay alive. As roach reinforcements moving in forward. Combat shield hasn't finished up quite yet either. Reynor is going to hold, but by the skin of his teeth. Starts a hive, which is a great move. Tunneling claws finishes up. That's going to be practically useless. He needs his Glio reconstitution. He needs his roach speed. I hope he realizes that he doesn't have it. Because now he's gonna see it. See, wait a second. What upgrade did I just finish? Sees the spike pop up on his roaches. Yeah, turrets instantly start. It's like, hey, wait a second. I see the spikes on those roaches. I know it's kicking off. So it's gonna force out some turrets. That's something. We have the 3 extra barracks coming in. So once again, a very similar follow-up out of Oliveira. It's going to be an 8 racks. You have 2 extra tech labs already, so 3 tech labs total. It's going to be a lot of Marauders being pumped here. A lot of Marauders being pumped. This will need to be a pickup. What's the tank count currently? We're at 2. We have lost 2 tanks already, of course, with that initial push. Banshees have gone down to 84 workers for Reynor. It's getting his Baneling speed. It's getting his roach speed. What is the plan going to be here? Okay, it's just pure Marine. Pure Marines being rallied from these barracks. Oliveira so far has been quite quick with the follow-up push-outs as well. He hasn't been waiting till 180 supply. He says 150. That's the number that I'm going for. Bit of a supply block now, though. Liberators being added into the mix. Vipers already on the way out, though. Vipers already on the way out. And can these Vipers add in the final bit here that was missed in those in the last fights? Ultra Cavern coming in as well. Before Adrenal Glands. That is surprising to me. Vipers in my mind should be enough to kind of consistently deal with maxed out Marine tank. If you just have a high Baneling count. Of course, Ultras are more of kind of a... I don't want to say a game ender. Like a push ender. And if you end the push, you end the game, usually. Against an 8 Rex. There's a lot of Marines in here. Decent Marauder count as well. Vipers don't quite have the energy yet as the Marines move in forward. Baneling count not high enough. Baneling count non-existent. Unsieged tanks are just moving in forward. Now we'll siege up. Vipers will have a fantastic Blinding Cloud position as we see these tanks unsiege at this point. 1 base goes down. Reynor gives it up. Perhaps not voluntarily. Where's the flank? Is there a flank? No, we don't have a flank. We have an attack coming from one direction. Blinding Clouds are good. 2 Blinding Clouds are good. Banelings don't quite get the connections yet, though. 18 drones have already fallen. 87 army supply for Oliveira against the 55 for Reynor, who is gonna be cleaning up these tanks, I think, with some biles. No biles being used. Viper idling as well. Now we get the biles as the tank will fall. 76 workers to 65, but the base count is non-existent. The base count is non-existent. The unit count is non-existent. The queen count is, well, 6, which isn't quite high enough either. Oliveira here with the killer instinct just moved forward, on creep, tanks on siege, realized there were no banelings, and went for the throat. And Reynor thought he had more time. I thought Reynor had more time, and both of us were mistaken. Here comes the Viper, but he's down 50 supply. And Tunneling Claws is great, but not in this situation. So there's really no assets that he can use here to kind of turn this around. He just doesn't have the units simply. There's a 4 CC now on the way. We have a Blinding Cloud being used. And Oliveira is marching towards victory, towards a 3-1 win here in this best of 5. 64 army supply against 44. 3 upgrades on the way. I love that he's continuing in the upgrades. He says, hey, I've dealt a lot of damage. The only way that I'm losing is if I continue pushing and don't kill you. So I'm going to have some backups in here. I'm still going to continue to push as well, because I believe I have the opportunity to kill you. But if I don't, it's okay, because I have a fort base. I have 8 barracks. I have 3 upgrades coming in. And what do you have? The answer is absolutely nothing. Tanks all at the same position, though. So Blinding Cloud's going to be huge once more. GG, well played, gets called. Oliveira wins the series with a 3-1 score against Reynor. Surprising scoreline. But honestly, based on this series, fairly well deserved. Oliveira just outplaying his opponent. Very decisive in his move outs. Very decisive in what build orders he wanted to use. And the Atrax, dealing some damage here. It's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy the series. If you did, don't forget to like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks so much, and bye-bye.